Mr. President.
Senator from Oklahoma.
It's quite a discussion when we talk about the confirmations. It's one of the responsibilities that this body has that the other body does not have. In the case of a United States Supreme Court vacancy, however, during an election year, this has actually been, I think, some 80 years since they've actually filled a vacancy, as opposed to waiting until after the next election. I am concerned today, though, about another confirmation. The VA IG nominee named Michael Missile has been nominated, and I have a hold. Now, to kind of explain what that means is when you have a hold, that means it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't approve of the nominee, but it does mean there's one reason or another that you don't want to go ahead and confirm that person. That happened in the case of a nominee to be VA Inspector General, Michael Missile. Actually, I'm not placing a hold on him because of deficiencies in him, but deficiencies in the office of the IG. Today, what I'm announcing is I'm lifting that hold. That means they're free to go ahead and have this nominee move forward. And I think that's the right thing to do. At the Muskogee VA facility alone, the IG office has conducted 9 investigations since 2009. And there has been little or no change in that quality of care. My office is working hundreds of cases right now of Oklahoma veterans facing inadequate care or blocked access to benefits. I wrote the VA IG in January of 2016, simply requesting that the VA IG, Inspector General, to visit Oklahoma facilities and to do so with an outside entity such as the Joint Commission. Now, there's a kind of an attitude sometimes with individuals not wanting outside help, kind of an assumption that I don't need their help. So their response letter denied my request for conducting its investigation with a third party. And it's time for our VA facilities in Oklahoma to be held to those same standards as private hospitals, and I believe it'll take the aid of an outside group to make this happen, because right now they are not meeting that quality. Since placing a hold on Mr. Missile, the IG's office has committed to investigating Oklahoma's VA facilities with the oversight of an outside entity, and I've also have that commitment from Michael Missile that he will do that, and I appreciate their commitment. But our work to improve the care for Oklahoma veterans doesn't end there. Since the VA reform bill passed. It passed Congress this last summer. It was a good bill. It's clear that our facilities in Oklahoma have continued business as usual. I haven't seen any noticeable difference in the performance, in the treatment of our veterans since the passage and the activation of that bill. I believe the impending investigations will show that it's going to require a change in the management level to bring about lasting improvements for veterans' care. That's why I, along with my junior senator from Oklahoma, James Langford, have introduced Senate Bill 2554, the Veterans Affairs Accountability Act. We did this on Friday, February 12th. Now, this legislation is critical to providing the best treatment for our country's veterans, building upon the comprehensive plan of the 2014 VA reform bill. Our legislation grants VA leadership at the regional level and the authority to fire and to demote individuals staff that is working in these facilities. Now, I think a lot of them thought that the reform bill did that, but it didn't. And so we haven't been able to do it. It also allows directors of the Veterans Regional chapters to contract with an outside entity to conduct investigations for their VA medical facilities. Now, as I've worked to address the many concerns I have with Oklahoma's VA facilities, I have come to trust the leadership at the regional level. We had one individual who's come in as Ralph Gigliotti. He's done a great job. He doesn't have the authority to do what this bill would allow him to do. Now, not only were intermediate surgeries suspended due to what they have now uncovered, but also the Chief of Staff has been temporarily removed from his position. This process, however, revealed that our regional directors are not presently empowered to address staffing concerns in the facilities they oversee. Now, we've seen this in the state of Oklahoma numerous times. Our legislation peels away the layers of bureaucracy and allows the directors at each of the regional areas to play a larger role with improving the VA system as a whole. As we all know, freedom isn't free. And many of our veterans have paid the prices with scars, some visible, some may go unseen, such as post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, depression and traumatic brain injuries. It's in my great state of Oklahoma, there are more than 37,000 military families and roughly 340,000 veterans that call our state home, attend our churches, and contribute to our communities. And on behalf of Oklahoma, I say we are humbled by the immeasurable dedication of each and every one of them. And I think it's government's duty to honor the promises made to our veterans in return for their sacrifices, and I urge our colleagues to remember that. I can remember when I was in the Army. Commitments were made to me when a decision was made. Actually, mine was not a decision because it was compulsory service at that time, which I think we ought to go back to. But anyway, I think this is going to be good, and this is going to give us the resources and the capability of correcting the problems as we see them. And for that reason, I am lifting my hold today on Mr. Michael Missel, and his nomination will move forward. And with that, I yield the floor.